Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back again, and that means you are too. Thank you for joining us. It's the Tom and Steve Variety Hour here on 570.
Where are we, Tom?
The Local
you
Show.
know, they were talking about getting rid of AM radio. Did you hear that?
Yes, they were in the cars, in the vehicles, and
yeah, they're like, well, nobody listens to AM, and
right.
There was kind of debate over that.
It ended up where they're keeping it in a lot of the manufactured vehicles still, and the amplitude modulation was just an easier signal for people to communicate on. And
did you ever listen to faraway cities when you were a kid on the radio at night?
all the time. When I was doing radio, when I started in the early 80s, I was out in Utica, and I had to come back from Utica to drive to the Valley. Okay, so it was an hour, 5 minutes. Or
During
whatever.
the day or at night?
At night, because I worked late night, when you're first starting.
Right, and listeners may or may not know, AM signal at night, it bounces or something, right?
You get it, it's called getting it on skip. Yeah, that's right. And
okay.
So you get it on skip. So I would listen to both 700 WLW out in Columbus, I think that was. It's somewhere in Ohio. The big one, they call it.
I was waiting to say WLS out of Chicago.
No, I didn't get WLS, but I also got WABC in New York. And there was a guy on the overnight. He did a show called the Record Pig. And it was, I can't remember his name now. Oh, Big J.
Okay.
Big J Sorensen. Isn't that funny? I remember his name, out of New York City. And it came in so crystal clear, you couldn't believe it, how clear it was. And then in the day, I couldn't get it at all. But at night, it bounces off the ionosphere.
Yeah, I used to love to listen to things. And I had mentioned before, I had a shortwave.
Yes.
And would listen to different places and different things. And you could pick up South Africa like he was like it was in the front yard.
Oh, gosh.
It was, and they spoke English. So you weren't, you would hear a lot that other languages that I didn't understand. Kind of still don't.
Well, enough of talking to you. I'm done with you. Matt Major is here. He's the founder of Growth Mode Technologies, otherwise known as your local IT department. How are you there, Matt?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me back, guys.
Well, thanks.
Were you a radio nerd?
I'm just a nerd in general. Yeah, pretty much.
Did you also have, what do they call, crystal radios?
I never had any crystal radios.
I had a crystal
we used to get into CB radios.
Yeah, of course, CBs.
Young,
CB. Dad had one, and Tom, you know how you remember things?
Yes.
My dad had one, and my mom had one. He would call on the way home from work, and it was KPQ 7524. That was the number.
That's great.
You had to call
Wonderful.
out.
Now, Matt, I worked at Radio Shack, through my early years, and I imagine we're close in age. I'm probably a little older, but back then we used to do, of course, it was Tris-DOS. It wasn't even DOS at that point. So Radio Shack had Tris-DOS, and the way we used to do our report at the end of the night to get the information in the computer was on cassette tape. How does that work? Why did they do it that way?
If anybody still remembers disc was the same principle as magnetic media.
Okay.
Same as cassette tapes were. So you could write to them in cassette tapes, as you know, you could hold a lot spooled up inside the thing. So they were very early, and even to this day, to a very minimal degree, still what's the go-to way for backup? You probably heard of backup tapes.
Yes.
Same thing as audio cassettes that you used to listen to. Same technology, same whole idea.
So don't play with magnets too close to them.
That's exactly. That's one of the biggest issues with those things. 100%. Traditional hard drives as well were magnetic media, where you had the same risk. You were real careful around magnets. But yeah, that's.
We've come a long way.
Same technology, just different size.
You remember the cart eraser, Tom, at the radio station?
Oh, yes, I do remember those.
Tell us what it was.
Well, it was a big electromagnet.
Yeah.
Right.
And you would run the tape over it, and then, of course, that would
link
the tape.
And cart looked like an 8-track tape, but it's what all the commercials ran on.
Yeah.
You would pop it in.
And of course, you'd get a disgruntled part-timer sometimes, and then you'd go in to play the commercials, and there would be no commercials.
They did on purpose?
They do it on purpose.
Wow.
Sure. People get angry. But anyway, so as things evolved, what was Tris-DOS? Explain that evolution from Tris-DOS to DOS, and then what we have now.
Well, everybody had their own flavor of DOS, right? Microsoft had MS-DOS. That's the one people are most familiar with, but just MS stands for Microsoft. So,
Gotcha.
the Radio Shack version. Radio Shack was Tandy DOS.
I gotcha.
That's kind of what they're, and there's a bunch of other flavor. IBM had their own for a while. But that's really just sort of the brand, if you will, of the cola. Is the easiest way to think about it.
And then Apple was doing something totally different.
Totally different. Yeah,
I gotcha.
Yep.
And then now we've developed into what kind of where do you see the language going now? Like, will Windows ever go away? Will it all be one homogenized thing? Or
Microsoft is aggressively pushing right now to move to cloud everything, including your Windows on your computer.
Oh, my goodness.
They want everything to live there.
Why is
because?
that? Yeah.
Well, because you pay them rent for that. That's a monthly recurring revenue for all of these things that they're offering. And in many cases, like Office, a lot of the business offerings that they give you, even paying the monthly fee is more cost effective than it was when we used to buy a full version of Office every year that it came out. So they sort of have an argument for it, but they've made it that way. So they get that.
Should we be afraid of that as companies and as individuals?
I mean,
yes.
there's pros and cons, right? A little bit. It does feel good to have that control in your hands. Also, you have that vulnerability, though.
It's not like, Tom, it's not like big businesses in cahoots with the government or anything.
Yeah.
What could happen? Sorry.
Exactly.
Did I say that?
Let's back up for a couple of seconds. So, Matt, what is your background? How did you become your local IT department?
Oh, I've been in the IT field for close to 30 years now, as much as I hate to look back and realize that. But it started in a local computer shop. We used to build computers back before even the internet in the late 90s had really taken hold, and people needed to buy something locally. There also wasn't all these Dells and some of these others. You had a few national brands, but for the most part, people bought a PC from a local PC shop that was custom built, and that's how I got my start as a teenager. And from there, I had a wide career of sort of freelance, one-man show businesses and some various positions that I've held in different places in between. So,
did you go to college for computer science? Is that what?
Yeah, I did. But what was interestingly enough, I went to Herkimer Community College, and I did that as part of my senior year of high school. I started college, and I was already sort of working in the field.
Yeah.
So it was, we'd have some, computer repair labs and things, and we'd sit there and I just want to fill out the paper because I knew exactly what was going to happen. And I have lab mates that well, we actually want to try it. Like, we want to see. Like, oh yeah, I guess most people don't have this experience at this point yet. But.
So you were in high school doing computer stuff at a college level, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Tom, they didn't did they invite you to any college classes in high school?
Well, actually they did.
Oh, geez.
I took 2 AP
Next
classes.
topic.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
I just wanted to get out of high school before. Okay.
Right.
That's fine. So you were right from you're on the ground. So what was your first computer? What did you do? What did you have?
It was a Tandy 1000.
Hey, all right, from Radio Shack.
Yes,
and I actually have. It's not that exact one, but I have an identical one in my office today of that same model. So.
Okay, and now you fix everything.
I try to fix everything.
Sure.
My team and I should say, fix everything. That's the one advantage. It's the reason I went from being kind of a one-man show for so long to actually creating a business that was designed to build a big team and have a wide variety of resources to draw from. So it's not just me, even though I'm very good at a wide variety of things. I now have a group of people who are incredible at even more things. So,
isn't it just like with cars? Has hardware become more homogenized? So instead of replacing individual components, you're replacing a whole motherboard.
That's sort of the way they want it. It has become a little more, I guess, disposable, so to speak.
Yeah. It's like a big lighter.
The biggest thing is it's not. We used to do a lot of repairs, fixing all these little things in people's computers.
Right.
Now it's not so much that, but it's the data. That's what's really important. That's what people are willing to pay for, is to make sure you save or recover my data more than anything else.
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me? Okay.
Nobody's looking at you. Nobody's really looking at you.
All right.
That's Matt Major right there. He's the founder of Growth Mode Technologies, otherwise known as your local IT department. We're going to get more into the name and more about what Matt's services are. So stick around. We're going to hold you over. Is that okay?
Sounds good to me.
All right. And Steve, you can just go to the lavatory. Something like that. Stick around right here on the local show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back into it. Great talk radio right here with Tom and Steve on The Local Show. Tell me a little bit about Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. I know they had a couple of workshops not too long ago.
Yeah, and they were helping a lot of people. And what you're hearing now, you heard it a few weeks ago on the news, is that trusts don't work. Trusts can't protect your home and life family savings. Well, if you're a gazillionaire and you have certain kind of tax trusts, that's what it applied to.
Gotcha.
The trust at Safe Harbor will protect your home and life savings from long-term care. So you're able to save your house and everything. It's very different. So people are like, oh no, trusts don't work. Well, if you use the one at Safe Harbor, it does work. And that's what they do. And they do it every day. They do it every week. The case managers over there are great answering questions. And if you haven't done it, you need to do it. Protect your home and life savings. SafeHarborWillsandTrust.com. And you can call them 370-9977. You can get a hold of them even on the weekend, leave a message, get the service, whatever. They'll get back to you, get your questions, maybe just update your will, whatever it is. 370-9977, SafeHarborWillsandTrust.com.
Excellent, Steve. Matt Masur is still with us. He's the founder of Growth Mode Technologies. When I first met you, Matt, you had the name Growth Mode Technologies, but now I see you have a shirt and a hat, and you're sporting your local IT department. What happened?
Yeah, well, I love merch, so it's I always cover myself in those things. But so we've been working with the very wise marketing folks at Zoey Advertising, and come together with the idea that what was traditionally my tagline, right? I would say Growth Mode Technologies, your local IT department, to sort of explain it. Steve said, well, why don't you lead with that? And that makes a lot of sense to me. So we've got an awesome new logo, and we've sort of rebranded a little bit. The company is always Growth Mode Technologies, LLC. That's still the legal name. But our brand name, the name we're going out to the world with, is your local IT department.
It's wonderful.
Because sometimes Growth Mode Technologies could have been anything.
Literally anything.
Could have been a cannabis shop.
Right. It could be fertilizer. Sure. And I didn't say that your business was
So let's break it down so that people really understand what your IT department is. IT standing for information technology.
Exactly.
But that has grown to mean so many different things in this day and age.
Ridiculous amount of things.
Yes.
So we do everything from, people think of the computers and making sure things can print and resetting passwords and things of that nature. And we do all of that. But there's so much more now. We're digging into helping people with their access control and camera systems and phone systems and all these different devices, all these different things we've had in offices and businesses for years are now on a network, and they're now part of our world. And it's one of those things where we either figure that out and be able to support folks, or we can't support them with anything. So, we're kind of, I say just about anything with a screen and a button is something that falls into our purview.
Tom's refrigerator would qualify?
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
I have a wonderful 32-inch screen in my refrigerator, and I'm all hooked up.
Yeah,
that's great.
Can you put people's mind at ease at all when it comes to AI? And are we living in the Matrix right now, or
no? Here's the thing. A lot of people are very paranoid about the future. A lot of people are very excited about the capabilities. In both cases, we're nowhere near any of those points, right? Even the folks that want to use it, it's going to replace all these jobs and we can do all these things with it. Yeah, maybe eventually. Certainly not today.
Right.
Today, AI is really great at writing letters for you. I mean, legitimately. Recently, I was looking, let's take a look at some of these AI plugins and maybe something that could help me manage my email and be a little more efficient. So I look at these, and this one says, here's what it does. Give us the gist of what you want it to say to reply to an email, and it'll write a whole email. And as I'm doing that, I'm realizing the gist, that one sentence, is all that email needs to be. So it's going to take the key details, it's all you care about, and it's going to turn it into a novel. How does that help anybody?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's true.
It's very well written and it sounds very nice, but in many cases you just want to say, yes, the deal is done and end of story. You know what I mean?
But I wasn't taking college classes in high school like you guys. So sometimes being able to have it take it to the next level is kind of fun.
1,000%. And that's not to say it's not a valid, useful tool in so many cases. But right now people think it's going to do the whole job, and it's not. It's a better screwdriver in your toolkit today.
Right now the actors and Screen Guild and everybody's having a strike, and they're not working, or they're working because they're afraid that AI is going to take their job. Tom, you were concerned about that a little bit, right?
Well, yeah, with the voiceover stuff, there are a lot of synthetic voices that sound pretty darn good. I can usually pick them out. Now, will they get better? Absolutely. In fact, they have one AI that can take your voice, synthesize it, and parrot back your voice, and it sounds pretty darn accurate.
And those are the things that we're the closest to in terms of creative folks. That's the one thing that it does well today.
Yeah. Right.
So I understand their concern, and I think a lot of their concern is, like many people, is it's not even that it's our boss is going to give that job away. The boss is excited about it, and they're talking about how much they're ready to replace people. So the workers are rightfully trying to put some protections in before they get to that point, I think.
Right. So why should business owners have a conversation with you?
So the long and short of it is we can make their business better. And, a lot of people look at IT as a business expense you got to have. It's sort of like insurance or the mechanic for your fleet of vehicles. But the reality is what our team can bring is improvements in cost savings in many places, so that you're actually better off. And I honestly believe the services that we provide are much more of an investment in your business because we act very much as a partner. We don't do anything billable hours. Everything is a flat rate that we work out and make sure the job gets done for the price that we agree upon. And it's in our best interest to make your business work better. That's where we're trying to go.
Can you do that remotely, or do you have to come in, or is it a hybrid?
A little of both, right? So what I believe helps set us apart from many others is we really like to send humans to your location, where most folks in our business these days want to do everything completely remote. But at the same time, if there's something that you call up and there's an issue that we can resolve by clicking a button, well, we absolutely want to do that before we send a person to you. So
is it true that several of your humans are women?
It is. We have been, I'm going to say without necessarily trying, we've been incredibly lucky to have a team full of some of the best women in tech, which is sort of a rare thing in general.
Yeah. Well, they're nicer people, usually, women.
Well, they are. And,
especially techies. Guy techies are always like, no offense, there's a stereotype.
Oh,
they're smart,
100%.
They're angry, and they're going to let you know that you're stupid.
Yeah. And like we've talked about before on the show, customer service is one of our key things. So we're not like your company's internal IT department that's very sort of authoritarian. And I'll help you when I feel like it, and you'll deal with it. We provide customer service as an outside thing. So all of our people are hired for their customer service skills as well as their tech skills. So
yes. And is it just a rumor that you put chips in people's heads? And
that is just a rumor. Okay, you're not supposed to say that on the air.
So
come on, Tom.
Folks can go to youritept.com.
Local IT. Your DEPT or local IT department, if you really want to spell out the whole word.
Okay, so I don't have to put your in front of it.
You do not.
Okay.
But if you do, that'll get you there too.
See, I kind of thought so.
Any variation you can imagine will get you to our website.
And you will play nice with inside IT people?
Yeah. We work with them all the time. And the thing is, we stand behind them and we give them a whole team, make them look like the superhero in front of their coworkers.
Very nice.
Nobody makes Tom look like a superhero.
Well,
no, not at
he's
all.
not an IT guy.
But you should have a conversation with Matt and his team because, there's no way that you can understand everything that's happening and the evolution of stuff and the ever-changing world of IT. So get on to Matt and talk with him today. So growth mode,
growth mode technologies or local IT department.com.
Okay. Yeah, go to that today. All right. Thank you, Matt. You have a great rest of the day.
Thanks, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
All right. Sheila Ostrom is coming up next. She's the owner of Senior Home Care and Alzheimer's Solutions. Stick around for that conversation right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.